It happens in silence. One day the kindest person you know simply disappears from your life. No warning, no explanation, no final conversation. They're just gone. And according to Carl Jung, this is not coldness. This is psychology's most powerful act of becoming. When someone finally cuts everyone off, they aren't losing themselves. They're returning to themselves. And once that process begins, nothing reverses it. Jung spent decades studying this pattern, and what he found surprised everyone. These weren't the difficult people. These weren't the ones holding grudges. These were the ones who stayed the longest, who forgave the most, who absorbed what others couldn't, and kept showing up anyway, until the day they didn't. And Jung didn't call that a collapse. He called it an awakening. Here's what most people never understand about the person who walked away. They didn't decide this recently. The decision was made quietly over years, and Jung called it the accumulation phase, the long silent period where the unconscious mind is keeping a record of the conscious mind refuses to acknowledge. Every time their generosity was treated as obligation, recorded. Every time their patient was mistaken for permission, recorded. Every time they swallowed something that deserved to be said, recorded. They never mentioned it. They never showed it. They kept giving, kept forgiving, kept making themselves available to people who had stopped making themselves worthy of it. But something deeper was counting, and kind people, truly kind people, are not weak. They are precise. This is where Jung's concept of the shadow becomes everything. Everyone carries a shadow, the unacknowledged parts of the self. For most people, it holds the darker impulses, the anger they won't admit to, the selfishness they pretend isn't there. But for the chronic giver, the one who learned early that their needs were inconvenient, the shadow holds something else entirely. Their strength, their boundaries, their capacity to choose themselves, their ability to walk away from what was never truly reciprocated. And when that shadow finally activates, it doesn't explain itself. It doesn't offer closure. It doesn't wait for the right moment or the right words or the right understanding from people who never tried to understand them before. It simply moves completely, finally, without looking back. And this is called individuation. The process of becoming fully yourself, not the version of yourself built around everyone else's comfort. The actual self, the one that exists when the performance of selfishness is finally allowed to end. And you cannot reach that self while pouring everything you have into people who never once asked if you had enough left for yourself. The cutting off isn't the loss. The cutting off is the arrival. The silence you left behind is not emptiness. It's the sound of a person who gave everything to everyone, finally giving something to themselves.